Good morning, boys and girls. I am Uncle Pete. Welcome back to Uncle Pete's Wall Street. Today's video, I am going to talk about kinds of brokerage accounts. Okay? Now, in my previous videos, I spoke about kinds of investments. Kinds of investments are things you put into your brokerage account. Okay? So, now let's say you realize, okay, Uncle Pete, I watched your previous videos 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I realize that inflation is very awful, and I need to save and invest my money to stay ahead of inflation. I know I want to invest for the future. I want to open up a brokerage account. I want to open up a retirement account. I want to open up something, excuse me, to help me stay ahead of inflation so I can have a nice retirement and I can maybe retire early. All right. So here we go. What you're looking at, this is the homepage of Charles Schwab. Now, understand something. It's February 2025. I just started this channel. I have about 3 subscribers. I don't make any money from anybody. I don't make any money from Charles Schwab. I don't have an affiliation with them. I just happen to have an account with them. So I pulled up their website. But you can open up an account with anybody. Charles Schwab, Morgan Stanley, Vanguard, Fidelity, Webull, Robinhood, whoever, right? You find out the one that you like. Maybe your accountant. You ask your accountant. You ask somebody older than you. Who do you have a brokerage account with? Oh, I got a brokerage account with so and so. Okay, maybe I'll open up one with them. All right. So you go to the website, right? And let's say you still don't know after all the videos you watch, you still don't know what to do. Find somewhere on the website. On this page, you can go up here. It says contact us. Get them on the phone. Say, I want to open up a brokerage account. Please help me. I guarantee you they will help you. They want your money. They want you to invest your money in their company, not in their company, but with their company, right? And they will help you. They will ask you a whole bunch of questions. What kind of brokerage account you want to open up? Okay, and that's the topic of today's video. So let's go here to accounts and products, and you see accounts. We have brokerage and trading, retirement accounts, IRAs, which are called individual retirement accounts, education and custodial accounts, right? You can open up an account for your kid for their college education, right? Personal choice retirement, not sure what that is. But let's say we go to open an account, right? Now we have a couple of kinds of accounts, okay? And as I mentioned, I had some friends who were confused about the difference between kinds of investments and kinds of accounts. They thought kinds of investments, like a mutual fund, was an account. A mutual fund is an investment vehicle. A stock is an investment vehicle. An exchange traded fund is an investment vehicle. A bond is an investment vehicle. Those investment vehicles go inside of an account. So here on the left, we have an individual brokerage account. An individual brokerage account is simply a cash account, meaning you buy an investment, you pay for it in full in cash, and that's it. You own it inside your account. And it's for one person. You can invest in stocks, exchange traded funds, options, bonds, mutual funds, right? Whatever they allow you to invest in an individual brokerage account. You could have 100 stocks in there. You can have 2. You can have 3 mutual funds. You could have 10, right? You could have 30 different issues of bonds, or you can have 1, right? You fill your individual brokerage account with the investments that you want. It's for a single person, a cash account. You pay for your investments in full and you own them. There's no debit in here, like in a margin account, which I will talk about and way down the road. New investors should have nothing to do with a margin account. In fact, I know I mentioned this in previous videos that I worked in the margin account of a major broker dealer for 22 years. Really, I'll tell you a little secret. Nobody should have a margin account. Now, I understand if you want to do certain kinds of investments, so I don't want these, smart people out there saying, well, if I want a short stock, I got to have a margin account. Yes, you do. If you want to trade futures, you need a margin account. if you want to trade certain risky options like naked calls and naked puts, yeah, you need a margin account. But you as a new investor, you don't want to hear anything about a margin account. You don't want anything to do with a margin account. All right. Let's take this step by step. So you open up an individual cash brokerage account, right? That's one kind of account. The next is a joint brokerage account. It's the same as an individual, except you can have two or more people on it. Invest in the same stuff. It's a kind of brokerage account. Next, we have these three: Roth IRA, traditional IRA, rollover IRA. These are individual retirement accounts that have certain tax advantages to them, right? So let's go back to an individual brokerage account. If you buy a stock and it pays a dividend, the dividend is going to be paid into this individual brokerage account, right? Let's say if you own, I don't know, AT&T, and it pays you a dividend, that dividend is going to be paid into this account. And at the end of the year, your broker is going to send you what's called a 1099, right? And they're also going to send that 1099 to the IRS. And that 1099 is going to list all the dividends that were paid into this account, all the interest you earned on bonds, all the if you bought stock and sold it during the year for a profit, if it was less than, if you held the stock for less than a year before you sold it, you're going to get, it's going to be a short-term capital gain. Anything over a year will be a long-term capital gain. All right. But you have to speak to your accountant or your tax professional on how to handle all this stuff. You bring your 1099 to your CPA or tax professional. You say, here's 1099 from my brokerage account. What do I do? And they'll take care of that. All right. Same thing with a joint brokerage account. Someone has to pay the tax on the capital gains, the interest, and the dividends. Now, in a Roth IRA, these are individual retirement accounts. These have tax advantages. Now, for a Roth IRA, the simple explanation of what a Roth IRA is you can put a certain amount of money if you have earnings in a year. You can take a certain amount of money. The IRS allows a certain amount of money. I think for 2024 it was like $7,000, and if you're over 50, you get to put an extra thousand in there. But there's limits to what you could put in. So you can put that money in. In a Roth IRA, you do not get the initial tax deduction of the amount of money you put into your Roth IRA. Now, once you put it into Roth IRA, right, you could leave it in cash or you can invest it, right? Now, they don't list the investments here like they do on the joint brokerage and individual, but in a Roth IRA, you can invest it with what you want. You can invest it in individual stocks. You can invest your money in mutual funds, in exchange traded funds, in bonds, whatever, right? But in a Roth IRA, if you put like the max, which was $7,000 in 2024, I think, if you put that max in there, you don't get that. You don't get to deduct that from your earnings. Okay. In a traditional IRA, but a Roth IRA in the future, when you go to take money out, and any profits that are earned, any capital gains that are earned in your Roth IRA through the life of your IRA, you know, when you're an older person and you want to start taking money out when you retire, the law currently is you do not have to pay any tax on anything that was earned in the account or any tax on the money you take out of the account. That's a Roth IRA. In a traditional IRA, same thing. You get to fund this account with a certain limited amount of money if you have earnings, right? So if you put $7,000 into a traditional IRA, you get to deduct that from your earned income so that you pay less taxes. However, in the future, when you start taking money out of this account, you have to pay tax on the money you take out at whatever tax rate you are then. Okay? That's the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA. A rollover IRA is, let's say, at your current company, you have a 401k and you've been there a bunch of years, but you're leaving the company. Either you're getting laid off or you're quitting, right? And you want to take your money with you. I believe, and it's been a bunch of years since I've been out of the workforce, but um, when I was laid off from my company, I decided to take my 401k and I brought it over to Schwab and I rolled it over into an IRA. Because my 401k had tax advantages, 401k has tax advantages like a traditional IRA. In a 401k that your company might offer you, first of all, if you have a 401k at your company, I strongly suggest that you think about investing in it and taking advantage of it, because a lot of companies will match a certain amount of money. If you put in a certain amount of money, they might match it like 5% or 10% or whatever. That's free money. Okay. So also, when you put money in a 401k at work, let's say one week you make 2,500 bucks and you put $500 in your 401k. When they figure your tax, your federal, state, local tax, that $500 comes off first. So you're not getting taxed on 2,500, you're getting taxed on 2,000. Okay? So that's the tax advantages of 401k. So let's say you've had it for a couple of years at your company, you're leaving, you want to take your 401k. Now, you don't want to just take your 401k in cash. That would be bad. That would be bad. You want to make sure you roll it over into another qualified plan, which would be a rollover IRA. Okay, that way you don't pay the tax on the money you take out of your 401k. It goes from one tax advantaged account to another. That's what a rollover is for. Okay, so let's just let's see what happens here. How many questions they ask us. So let's say you're brand new. You want to open up an individual brokerage account. You don't want to open up an IRA yet. You just want to open. So let's say we click on that and see where it takes us. Okay. So it's giving you some some information. It has some questions and it's answering the questions for you, right? So what do you need to open a brokerage account? Well, you need a social security number, a tax ID. You need your employer's name and mailing address, if applicable. Your email address and a mobile phone number. Because one of the things that they're going to do is, just like if you were to open up a credit card, they're going to do some kind of a check on you to make sure you're a real person, right? And you're not someone from Cuba opening an account, right? There's uh, there's organizations within the federal government that has laws that we can't do business with certain um, countries or certain people. Like the Ayatollah in Iran can't log on to Schwab and open up a brokerage account. Okay, they're going to qualify these people. So let's hit get started. So you put your name, whatever, your current address, date of birth, social security number, blah blah blah, and you're on your way. Yeah, so it's not going to let me go further. So then you're on your way, right? If you were going to open up an IRA, let's see what that does. And if you get stuck at any one of these pages, just have that number handy and call them. So now it says, what can you do with a traditional IRA? Make tax deductible contributions if you qualify. Defer paying taxes until you withdraw after age 59 and a half. Buy and sell stocks, mutual funds, ETF, and other investments. What are the costs of opening a traditional IRA? Nothing. No monthly service fees, no account minimums. This is at Schwab. What do you need to open up a traditional IRA? Social Security number, mailing address, employer's name if applicable, birth dates for people who you want to inherit your IRA assets, right? Then you get going here. And on Schwab, they have this little telephone to the right. If you get stuck on any of these pages, right, you just call them. Say, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do here. And they have different questions that you have to answer. All right. So I hope the main thing I wanted to get across, right, is how to just go onto a website and get started, open up an account. If you have any questions, you get stuck on any of this, just call them up. Before you do anything, write down the telephone number of their customer service. Okay? Write it down. And you decide what kind of account you want to open up. If you want just an individual brokerage account that doesn't have tax advantages, open up that. All right. If you have a kid you want to save for their college, call them up and say, I want to open up an education account for my kid. And they'll explain that. But I strongly suggest you talk to an accountant before you do something like that. All right. And you should talk to your accountant about any of this. Tell your accountant, I want to open up a brokerage account. Is there anything I need to know based on what you know about my finances? Right? And they'll say, hey, you know what? Maybe you should open up a Roth, or maybe you should open up an IRA. Right? Talk to your tax professional. Don't do any of this stuff unless you talk to a tax professional. Get their opinion. They know what your financial situation is. I don't. Right? And you don't know anything about this stuff. You want to make sure you do the right thing. And if there's any tax advantages for you as an individual, right, you want to take advantage of that. That's why you need a tax professional. Don't do any of this until you talk to a tax professional. Just tell them, I'm going to open up a brokerage account. You know, what do you advise me to do based on what you know about my finances? Okay. So, but the other main thing I wanted to get across, because it was such a point of confusion for so many people that I knew, is the difference between kinds of investments and kinds of accounts. A mutual fund is not an account. It's a kind of investment that goes into an account. An ETF, an exchange traded fund, is not an account. It's a kind of investment that goes into an account. A bond is not an account. It's a kind of investment. An individual brokerage account is a kind of account. A joint brokerage is a kind of account. A Roth IRA is a kind of account. Why are these important? Because a Roth IRA has certain tax advantages, right, over a traditional IRA. And a traditional IRA has certain tax advantages over a Roth IRA. It's a little confusing, but talk to your tax professional. He or she will know what to advise you to do. Right? All right. So I hope that clears up a lot of questions for a lot of people. Kinds of brokerage accounts. Way down the road, I'll talk about margin. All right. And I think tomorrow I'm going to make a video regarding day trading. Now, keep in mind, investing is investing. Speculation, day trading is something else. Investing is for the long term. Day trading is something entirely different. And I know a lot of young people, they see all these videos of people driving around these fancy cars and throwing dollar bills and 20s and hundreds and all over the place, acting stupid and saying, oh, I'm making all this money. I'm making all this money. I have a lot to say about day trading. When I worked for a broker dealer, I did the day trade reports. Okay. So I have a number of things that I want to say about day trading. I have a number of things that I want to get across to you and save you from some of the pitfalls of what you see on the internet. And I'm not saying you can't trade, but I am going to say that there's a right way to do it and a wrong way, and there's a right kind of person who should get involved in that, and the kind of person who absolutely should not. Right? But since we are in the very beginning of this journey of beginning investor series, I wanted to get you to this point where you can actually open up a brokerage account. And then we're going to talk about, well, okay, I opened up my brokerage account. They had me fund it with $100. What do I do now? What do I buy? And I'm telling you, this is never going to be a channel. I am never going to tell you what to buy. I will tell you what I have done. Okay. But I will never give you stock tips, because don't ever take stock tips. Most of the time you're going to lose money. All right. And I say this out of experience because, hey, Uncle Pete, have you taken stock tips in the past? Yep. Yep. Hey, Uncle Pete, have you lost money on stock tips? Yep. I've made the mistakes. You have an opportunity to listen to me and not make the mistakes I made. Right? That's part of listening to someone who's been around a little while, right? Rather than somebody flashing money at you and a Ferrari on YouTube. All right. But we're going to get into all that. Next, I'm going to talk about what do you do once you get these brokerage accounts opened up? What should you buy with them? All right. All right. It's Uncle Pete. I'll see you in the next video. Good night.